Anthony's, karaoke stream. Like, hopefully, yeah, it's spotty enough. I was trying to watch the Doctor Who, colorized version of the War Games, and it's like it just couldn't maintain a connection with the VPN. It's like forget it. I got a connection. We'll take care of that. All right. So for our Christmas Eve one, I hope you're having a good Christmas Eve, people. We're getting stable. I think that will be our Christmas present to ourselves, or just having some kind of stability for a while. Let's get into it here. Something from Chad Porto, a recommendation of for last minute Christmas gifts. We want to gift that. Every Star Trek fan would love this Christmas season. Well, I'm going to put a few provisos there. See when I can get this thing to finally respond here. Here we go. All right. Remember, they'll. It's not as easy as Chad makes you think here. Let's get through it here. Christmas is almost here, and if you're like most people, you may have forgotten to get a gift for somebody. If that's the case, go to Five Below and pray you can find something for getting someone. You go to Five, you'll find something, even if it's just a T-shirt or a gift card. Candy always works. That said, if someone on your list is a Star Trek fan, there are more than enough last-second Christmas gifts you can buy. These gifts also work for Hanukkah, birthdays for that matter, so don't be afraid to use these for other events as well as where gifts are welcomed in. So with that, let's go through some ideas. Star Trek comics, your local comic. Okay. Any Star Trek comic, namely the new series that IDW is publishing, is a great idea for fans. I'd recommend, if nothing else, get the trade paperbacks as they come. They give fans the best chance for displaying their Star Trek stories. However, single issues will do if there aren't any available. The current line of comics are canon stories. If you not. All right. Here's your first minefield. Depending on how hardcore the fan is, you could just easily piss them off. If you get one of the titles regarding the JJ Trek stuff, and this guy hates JJ Trek, you did not make a friend. Okay. In fact, frankly, except for any of the John Byrne ones, I couldn't give a rat's ass about any of these. And some of these, I was like, what did I do to piss you off? So, no, tread carefully. It's like, and again, with the apparent recent thing that somehow lore has destroyed the Kelvin verse, it's like, let's see how much longer these things are canon. Anyway, they shouldn't have been canon in the first place because, writers do this sort of thing when they have no new material coming. So who knows what's going on with there. Star Trek ornaments. Anywhere Hallmark is sold. Yeah. We got a Hallmark store not far from here, too, actually. I should go there because I did a membership in their program there, and I'm not sure if it's still active. But, all right, so again, Chad, proofread your shit. NCCO-1701. Come on. That's Bush League stuff. All right. Yeah, Hallmark, have Captain Christopher Pike. Unfortunately, it's the Strange New Worlds version of Christopher Pike. So again, you picked the wrong one. You didn't make a friend. Okay, you pick an ornament of the JJ Prize or something Kelvin related or Discovery version. No, you're likely to start a fight. Now, meeting with Data and Spock. Yeah, okay. And again, they got the ship stuff. So I wonder about that when the lights out. Is that the tree topper thing? That's over $100. You better really like them. They got an Enterprise ornament. Or again, if you get the Discovery, you're gonna piss somebody off most likely. This is not a well-loved show. Okay, there's a reason why Paramount pulled the plug on it the second they could. Numerous Star Trek DVDs. Same warning. I made it very clear that any kind of DVDs or Blu-rays thing, do not even think about anything Discovery related or Strange New Worlds or the first 2 seasons of Picard. In fact, odds are if they're into the DVDs at all, they may have already taken care of this issue themselves. Okay. I'll tell you what I could use is the Blu-ray sets of the Next Generation. I've got like the first 2 seasons when they're doing them individually. I wouldn't mind, the whole series set. It's a zero. It's region zero. Everywhere it'll play everywhere, and I know where I can give the first 2 seasons I've got. Otherwise, I'll keep plodding along individual seasons on eBay. There's the DS9 series set at Walmart. It's like $99 right now. I could go, I might go for that this week. I don't know, depending on how the other bills shake out. Voyager, same thing. But get me the original stuff. I've already got Enterprise on Blu-ray and the original series on Blu-ray. I'm needing the others for research material, nothing else. Because again, I'm just working on the concordance here. I need material. I need, and I've got like the first 3, maybe 4 seasons of Lower Decks on Blu-ray. I'll have to check. And I've got the first 3. But yeah, learn which areas of the franchise this Star Trek friend of yours is sort of affinity to, has an affinity for. Because you get the wrong one, it's like you just declared a war. So, all right, really new novel from Dayton Ward. I think I can still call it a friend. I mean, things got rough there for a bit, but I think we're still friendly. Pliable Truths. I guess it's a meeting, between Jean-Luc and Garrick. Why not? Garrick was in the Obsidian Order. He went everywhere. He was a gardener on Romulus for a bit. And again, assorted items. Locally, we have a great place called the Exchange that leans heavily out here. Second and Charles is the big one for secondhand stuff, and also thrift stores are good. With this, and again, always the same warning: be careful what you're grabbing, because you might just have it thrown back in your face. It's like, no, get this shit out of my face, out of my house. I already told them, it's like you show up with a Discovery disc set. It's like, thank you for the coasters. They are never, they're never darkening the drawer of my Blu-ray player. Let's see what comments. All right, and Daniel. Yeah, I'll get to that. Actually, and Doomcock is bumped onto this one, and I decided to rub his nose a bit. Okay, now you're going to get Lower Decks a shot? Now that they've accomplished your wildest dream, eradicating Discovery from the timeline? I think that is pretty much a Christmas present that Mike McMahon gave us all. It's like, no, Discovery is all, and with it goes Strange New Worlds and anything affiliated with it. But here, let's move on to the next one here. This one's from Rachel Carrington, our little rah-rah. No, Star Trek Discovery wasn't made with the goal of erasing all Trek that gone before. Oh, you sweet summer child. Yes, it was. I don't think we're going to go too much into this one. They scooped the Klingons, but they got it right. Not really. The Klingons still aren't quite straight. And yeah, everyone's got their favorite shows. Like I had to go through and like the channel I just came across, Seth something or other, but he has a quick little video about get this thing out before I get demonetized again. But what your favorite Star Trek show says about you, and it seems pretty apt. My favorite ones really at this point are original series, DS9, and Lower Decks. So. But Discovery wouldn't have Strange New Worlds. Yeah, and that's really not much of an improvement given the overall state of affairs. It's like, careful who you hit your wagon to, Rach. Okay. But no, this very much was a part of the plan. That's when JJ started setting all this up. It's like, yeah, get your claws in there and then start doing your own stuff, remake it in your own image, and start raking in the bucks. Problem is, if you put out something that nobody likes, you damage the entire franchise. Something they're coming across, they should have learned it because we figured that out back in the early 90s. It's called the ElfQuest effect. When they're just flooding the indie market with this ElfQuest title and that ElfQuest title and everything else, and every freaking minor character that came along was given a book. It's like people not only didn't pick up on the new books, they also stopped buying the old ones, and it crashed the entire line. So, yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and... Okay, come on, damn it. There we go. They have it in so many words. That's the problem. But what they've done, there's no way to explain it other than say it was an alternate timeline. Mainly because of the Kiva Goldsman's stupid idea about how it happened. Well, it has to line up with our timeline, or it's like, no, it doesn't. It was not, Star Trek was never our future. And I can pull stuff from the original series to back that one up. Namely, that 1930, Clark Gable was not a marquee star. He was still a background. He was a backup guy. There was no such thing as a Clark Gable movie in 1930. All right, this is multiple clicking trying to get the thing to go. It'll go out eventually. And in 1968, we did not have orbiting nuclear devices. There was already treaties in place preventing that. So there were deviations even then. Okay? Star Trek was never our future. It was a potential of where we might be able to go if we could put some gumption behind it. It's like, here's something, here's an idea. How about this? But it was never portrayed as our future. Okay? It's like, it's like Doug Drexel. Star Trek is a period piece of a future that never was. And especially with the various eras of it, it really is a period piece. If you're doing for a certain era of thing, you better nail the look and feel of that era. Discovery failed colossally on that front. It's something that previous Star Trek, whenever they went to the original series era, they duplicated the sets to a religious fanatic level. Well, Trials and Tribulations, they were actually meshing themselves with actual footage. And they, pulling it, pulling actual, costumes out of the Klingons that they for the new guys playing Klingon in that episode, they were wearing original Klingon costumes from the original series. The only thing that replaced was the bubble wrap belt buckle. Everything else was actual from the show, probably in that episode, because they had so many Klingons there. They had Alexander Siddig talking about trying to get the how to flip the communicator open to get it right, and then some guy came up behind. Oh, this is how you do it. It was Walter Koenig. He was on the set here, like that, because I didn't quite get the wrist action right. I think one idea that was floated for a bit for shooting Trials and Tribulations was if they could borrow the 11-foot model for that sequence. And I think they actually went to Washington to examine it, and I think they figured, no, with the modern camera resolution, that would not be a good idea, because things would show up that didn't show up before. But they did make a half-scale model of it, which was at the time pretty damn close. A couple of screw-ups here and there, but it's so the shot's so fleeting, you never know it. But Greg Jean knocked it out of the park with that model. They were just selling replicas at Star Trek Experience like $20,000. But no, this whole thing when they tell the plan when JJ actually tried to tell CBS to stop marketing other Star Trek products. so that his stuff would be the only stuff out there. But yeah, he was trying to replace established Star Trek with his version. Thankfully, CBS told him to go fuck himself. My understanding was exactly in those terms. No, go fuck yourself. We're not stopping this. Because up until that point, Star Trek was $1 billion a year franchise for Paramount. Now, thanks to JJ and his minions and their efforts, they had to sell the studio. That's how badly it damaged, and how much when they start throwing money out. It's like, doesn't work that way, guys. You got to show some care for it, or the whole thing. Oh, the trick is will buy anything. No, we won't. We are picky, and we don't take kindly to being insulted and taken for granted. Okay. They learned nothing from this. It's like they came in and think, oh, they're stupid Trekkers will buy anything with a Star Trek label. There aren't that many of them that will do that. Okay, yeah, there's some that are, Yeah, well, I mentioned Dr. Noel in the description. But no, this is exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to take it over and make his own little thing. It's like same thing with Star Wars. Why the Millennium Falcon, his version has a rectangular sensor dish, because that's his Millennium Falcon. And why 3PO had a red arm, that was his 3PO. And they had R2 under a tarp for most of the time, and a little BB-8 running around. Well, that's his version. That's his cute little precocious droid. And the stand was based on the rejected concept from back in the day of R2, which they couldn't figure out how to work back then. Now they do. Same thing with the X-Wing. That was originally based on the original concept where the engine just split apart, but which kind of also begs the question, JJ didn't have an original thought in his head. He dragged out old Ralph McQuarrie designs, and paint 3PO's arm red and call it, oh, it's an original thing. No, it's not. You just copy somebody else. You're using stuff that was already in the archives and claiming it as your own. You're a fucking leech. And I think Hollywood is finally starting to wake up to that. But how many billions of dollars have been wasted in the meantime? And again, it's like with Lower Deck. In fact, we'll get to Lower Decks here. Let's just get right into it. So, Mike McMahon has a plan. Okay. For the series after regrouping. It's a little soon yet. I'm assuming you guys are seeing this. I'm getting a black. Here we go. Yes, once again, we've said goodbye to a Star Trek series before we were ready for it. Is this Rachel again? Yeah, it is. All right. Star Trek Lower Decks wrapped up its 5-season run on Thursday, December 19th. And while the show went out with a bang, it's not necessarily over. As we've heard before, it's never said ever with Star Trek, and creator Mike McMahon is taking that to heart. In an interview with Trek Movie, McMahon discussed his plans now that the series is wrapped. There are plenty more stories to be told with Boimler, Mariner, and the gang, and he's nowhere near ready to say goodbye to them. But he knows now that now isn't the time to push Paramount. So he's going to regroup and take their victory lap for a second. And it's a well-deserved victory lap, as Trekkies had their doubts about the anime comedy before it premiered. 5 years later, the show signed off with hope for more. And again, I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I was like, no, these guys know what they're doing. McMahon noted there are things happening in the industry, not just at Paramount, but all over the place. So while he knows he wants to take another shot at creating more Lower Decks, he also knows now is not the time. But he will keep an eye out for when that time comes, saying, then when the industry and Paramount seem to kind of be in a place where Lower Decks can pop back again, I'm going to make a hard push to get to do whatever we can get. More episodes, a movie, and the live action spinoff. Who knows? I think he really wants a movie. Okay. So for those of us who are disappointed to see the ending of Lower Decks, we should take into consideration that this may just be a for now ending. We didn't think we'd ever see Captain Picard or Captain Janeway after their series ending, but those dreams came true. Yeah, because Patrick Stewart and Kate Mulgrew need pizza money. Although they did take a pretty hard sell and certain concessions in order to get them back. Kate Mulgrew was very protective of the character of Janeway. And they had been throwing ideas at her for years. She said, nope, she wouldn't do that. I'm not doing that to her. When they finally came up, when the Prodigy guys, and again, producers who know what the hell they're doing and appreciate what's happening, they came up with something. Okay, yeah, that will work. Patrick Stewart, on the other hand, I said this for a while now, do not trust Patrick Stewart's creative instincts. They don't really work. They're not the best in the world. And I would go back to when he was with the Royal Shakespeare Company and his approach to Shylock and Merchant of Venice. It's not necessarily invalid. It's an interesting approach, but it didn't ring true enough to me because there's this PBS thing, or actually it was Acorn, but Plain Shakespeare, the multi-part documentary series, and they spend one segment of it, comparing and contrasting Patrick Stewart's Shylock and David Suchet's. Both of them were highly acclaimed. But Patrick's was informed of trying to think the character type of thing, and he took the approach that Shylock would try to be let's see in the case of say it was set in England, that he would be more British than the British type thing, and that would sort of scream out foreigner, he's trying too hard. David Suchet, on the other hand, he leaned into the stereotypes. He had the accent and the whole thing, and again, David Suchet is Jewish, so he had a little better foundation to build on, a little more of a cultural knowledge based on. So he had to think, okay, yeah, and his ring much more true. And while again, Stewart's is not necessarily an invalid point, but it just doesn't ring true to me enough. And he comes across as borderline ex-murderer psychotic at times, just sort of very twitchy and whereas Suchet, it's like much more diabolical than Maine, and starts around the speech, that that I tickle do not laugh. Oh, I'm going to shove you in that revenge. Just much more, little less unhinged. Patrick Stewart's one, it's just kind of like ready to just fly off of the handle. Yes, we're back to store brand for a bit. But you can see, you can pick up point at the various things when they started to go a little off the rails, because Patrick Stewart had some sway in it. And he's like, let's try this. Killing off his family in generations. That was his idea. He couldn't think of anything else of why Picard might be feeling old, you think? And no, they had to kill off his family, and not kind of missing the point that Rene Picard, Robert's kid, was kind of like that. That was kind of symbolizing us, or even Gene Roddenberry as a kid, sitting under the tree and looking up at the stars and wondering what if, I want to get up there. And what does Patrick Stewart do? He barbecues him. You kind of missed the point of the character. And I was just like, that was needless. There was no point to that. There are lots of other ways for Patrick Stewart, for make Jean-Luc Picard feel like an old useless rag than killing off his family. Okay. And in First Contact, not so much. That one worked. Having Picard be the action hero type, he had to step up and save his ship. Insurrection. Again, it kind of worked. He had some very good speeches in there. The whole thing about how many did it take, Admiral? 1,000, 10,000, a million. When did it become wrong? But for Nemesis, that's where we really start falling off the, going past the guardrails here. The dune buggy scene, all him, because Patrick Stewart was getting into off-road racing. It comes with Ivan Iron Man Stewart. That's why they had that in the first place. Never mind the fact that in doing that scene, within the content, they committed a grievous violation of the first the Prime Directive. And just a technical thing. It's like, they detected all of the pieces of B4 from the ship. And they recommended, how about being, there's an ion storm on the way. Well, then beam them up now before the storm gets here, dumbass. The controls on the ship, they didn't even have to go out of the transporter room. They're going to call up configures right there. Okay, and then somebody transporter room, calls out, hey, a bunch of stuff just beamed up. Do you order this? Or then they're calling out the transporter room. Hey, these are the coordinates. Beam these things up. We'll be down to pick them up in a minute. Like that's the way I would, if I do an edit on that thing. That'd be what I do. In fact, I don't think I'd just cut the scene before they even mentioned it. Oh, there they are. Give me beam them up, and then just cut and show them reassembling in the lab. Just skip the entire sequence because that was idiotic to begin with. I mean, Stewart knew enough when ragging on Stuart Baird that you can't treat this like it's the first movie. It's a series. You gotta have respect for that. He knows that much at least. But as far as getting the intricate thing of what makes the thing work, no. It's like, Stuart, Patrick, go back to your room. We'll figure out what's going on here, and we'll let you know, okay? But otherwise, you give him some ideas, but let us do it. We're the writers. You're the actor, okay? You should only trust the creative instincts of the actors as far as, what else have you done? Yes, you played the character for years, but you were writing lines somebody else wrote. Something in my finger here. Let's see. It looks like my man will set up an open end for the. Well, yeah, he set it up perfectly. That's how you do a finale. If you're not quite ready to wrap things up yet. Let's see. Ones and tweezers. But yeah, I mean, the Starbase 80 by itself is a perfect setting for a show. There you go. I think I got it. All right. And that quantum reality wormhole is also okay. Here, this is for all you people who like these alternate realities. Where they're there, right through that portal, you'll find it somewhere. So it was very inclusive, but also like, no, this is not prime time. This is alternate. Because they've seen, no, it doesn't mean, no, it's exactly what it means, Sean. Okay. Sean over, Trek culture. No, that exactly what that means. It's an alternate timeline. Just like when the Cerritos turned into a Terran Empire version of yeah, because the mirror universe is an alternate timeline. So is Discovery. And by derivation, so is Strange New World. So is Section 31. They have been successfully excised from the main timeline. We can now ignore them. That was our Christmas present from Mike McMahon this year. Now, yeah, we have no idea what Tawny is pitching or if she's even on the same pitch, because a lot of times you'll go through 5 or 6 pitches in an afternoon. How about this? No, how about that? Well, now, I got to get cracking on, mainly because I stated it on Doomcock's thing about, Discovery being wiped out. Is a couple of video ideas I put in there. I mean, reasons I stated it out there was to make sure I actually do them and follow through. But because if I didn't say anything, I would pause about, I never play. Now I announced it. I got to say it. I got to do it. Is a season wrap up, because again, my editing situation is such that I really couldn't do weekly reviews of the individual episodes. So I'm going to do just a season wrap up of Lower Decks, and maybe just spend a few minutes on each episode. Okay, this is what happened, and then a separate one will be a series wrap up and evaluation of how the entire show. And my best pitch for why, if you've blown this thing off for now, this is why you should give it a shot. This is proper Star Trek, only with jokes and with fart jokes and other things. But it is still proper Star Trek. This is what happened. This is significant stuff that has taken place during the show that you blew off as being just a stupid comedy. No, because the mission statement that Mike McMahon put out when he bring people up, no, this is going to be a proper canon Star Trek show. We are latching onto that canon with both hands and humping it to thing, because that's how much they like Star Trek, and that's how much the characters they went into Starfleet because of hearing of stories about Picard and the Enterprise and Riker and everything. But Boimler has memorized Picard's log entries, for God's sakes. You could probably run you along some of the stuff from the Stargazer. These people are again, so it's why you bring it back a little bit, and you're not on the front line ships making the adventures. You're from the further back watching it. You're hearing this stuff back, and you say, "Yeah, this is why I joined Starfleet, because of that. I want to be out there with those guys." And for a short time with Boimler, we were out there with those guys, but then something happened. And, well, you're going back. We're keeping Bill. But wrap on that, and again, hopefully I put enough of a bug on there. It's like because that was one of the things. That was kind of the beginning of the blowout between me and Doomcock, is that he was railing against it's another stupid JJ Drake thing, and it was during the Inquisition thing where I say, hey, request permission to speak on behalf of the defendant and the accused, and that finally got done that, and then it finally prompted a response there. And he had to walk it back a little because he realized he railing about me. Okay, no, he's a good guy. No man. So, but to an extent, damage done on that front. But no, I had to kneel him a little bit on that one. It's like, like I said, you ready to give this show a shot now? Not, in other words, April was right. This is proper Star Trek. But yeah, I think that will probably do it for now, because I want to keep these videos fairly short and digestible. I might do something later. Anybody tuned in to see if I go off on India? There's not much to go off about on Indy lately. I think I've said what needs to be said for a while on that. I've only said that feeling out of breath on these videos, like take the binder off. It may not be doing damage to your tits, but it's definitely affecting your lung capacity. That's why you're getting worn out. Lose the fucking thing. That's all I'm going to say on that one. All right, so hopefully by the time Anthony throws up another karaoke stream, my internet will have stabilized enough that I can get into it there. And also, I'm hoping to bury a hatchet or two between me and Mary Mayhem. that thing ended weird for various reasons. But I will offer this up there. When someone is in very clear need and is doing a stream begging for money, the last thing you should be doing is stomping in there, throwing them your lucky anchor, and calling it tough love. It doesn't work that way. We were that close to being tossed out on the damn street, and we were not in a condition to handle that anymore. We kind of screwed up our health. Nothing else. How we got out of that was a lot of it was pure luck, and it still did a number on my credit rep. We're just now starting to get to the point where I might be able to get a bank loan in a few, in about next month sometime to replace that dead van sitting out front. But with that in mind, I should mention, links in the description. Super chats are always welcome, and tips and everything else. Memberships, I still got, need a few members here because that's been languishing for a while. I should start figuring what to do that would be exclusives, but also it would help if I had a membership base that was worth doing exclusives for. Come on, let's get this thing growing here. The whole part of the point of getting into a place and setting up a little studio here was that I could do regular stuff and not be streaming from a van in a Walmart parking lot in Oviedo, Florida. On that note, again, like, share, subscribe, click notifications, and we will talk at you later.
Thank you.